Hey guys, it's Bitcoin Schmitcoin here with an uncharacteristic weekend update. We'll keep it on the high time frames today. Look at the monthly, the weekly, and the daily level. This last parabolic move we saw yesterday was so large that I don't really think it's worthwhile to break down the lower time frame structure. So we'll look at the macro levels and just keep it a high level overview for today. First things first, we cleared this monthly resistance and the move was so strong, we went to the next one. So where does that leave us? Keep an eye on this black band of prices as we move in right here, because it's going to be immediately relevant on the weekly and daily time frames. Currently, we're holding above, but you know the monthly candle still has about a week left on it, so take that with a grain of salt. As we look at the weekly time frame, we see the monthly level right here. And we see a fresh weekly level of interest right here, right at the 11.5K range. Didn't quite make it there, but we did blow right through our previous weekly level at 9.6. This move was a lot stronger than I was expecting. I was expecting it to be a pretty violent move to the upside because of all the short interest that was piling up. But this went well past what I was expecting. And if we can get a weekly close up here, this is very bullish, guys. The weekly candle closes tomorrow, right? And if we can get a weekly close above this this level right here, this 9.6K, well, then we may be establishing another macro trading range, a trading range that would have us bound between this price level here. That's not to say we won't see any like wicks going down here. Maybe retesting the bottom of this this monthly candle again, or this monthly level again. But if we close this weekly candle above this level, well, then we're setting ourselves up for just a monster continuation of the uptrend. Whether that trading range ends up being distribution or reaccumulation remains to be seen. But it would be bullish nonetheless to hold this level because we blew right through it and we have yet to retest it. So when we look at the daily structure, more of the same. We do see just huge price spread, huge volume, and we are seeing a bit of a wick here, but you know that's no surprise. In the last week, we rallied from 7.6K to 11.2K, 11.1K, whatever you want to call it, depending on what exchange you're looking at. But again, if we can get a weekly close above this band of prices, well, then I think what'll end up happening is we're going to establish a larger trading range between this series of support and resistance levels. That's basically what we did on the previous trading range. You know, we broke above this weekly level, failed to rally to this weekly level, and we kind of became bound in price here. And that makes sense from a high time frame and a low time frame structure. There's a lot of supply to shake out, and yeah, it's entirely possible that the upside of this current move isn't even done yet. We could see a test above this level, and if that ends up breaking, well, then the next upside target would be 12.8K. This guy right here. So, you know, as you guys, if you've been following Bitcoin for any length of time, you know that it can just become irrationally bullish. So it is generally ill-advised to try to fade this move and try to call the top because it'll just eat you alive. Something else to consider too is that the fact that we broke this 10K barrier, this like mental barrier right in here, this is going to start bringing in news coverage. It's going to start bringing in a lot of fresh money into the market that was waiting for this 10K barrier to break. And the more people start to short this, the easier it's going to be to push it to new highs. When we look at the move that we saw last night, if you were looking at the super low time frame stuff, you could see that people were trying to short it and it just squeezed them. People tried to short it, squeezed. It just kept squeezing people up until we get this like parabolic blow off sort of thing on the low time frame. And right now, if we look at where we are relative to the macro structure with this weekly time frame, this makes sense that we're nearing a local top. But again, if this breaks through, well, then the next line of resistance is going to be the 12.8K zone. Keep an eye out for this level to hold, this weekly this weekly band of prices between 9.6 and 9.1. If we can hold support there, well, then we may be in store for another round of buying and absorption with a macro trading range here. There's nothing immediately bearish about this. We are a little bit overbought. If we look at our macro price models that people like to reference, like our Ichimoku cloud or our 50 and 200 EMA combination, we have yet to come back down and retest the 50 EMA, which is characteristic of Bitcoin. Once it goes through these large moves to the upside, it likes to come back down here, tag this daily 50 EMA, maybe even go down to the weekly, the daily 200 EMA, which we have yet to do since we broke through it. So, it's entirely possible that we retrace to that level, but so far there's no indication that supply is showing up. There's no reason to think that we're going to go ahead and retest it. We have yet to do that, right? Like we blew through the 200 EMA and we have yet to retest the 50 EMA, this blue guy here. So the structure is looking very bullish. We've broken through some major macro obstacles. And as long as we keep finding support, well, then I see no reason for this just to continue going up. We keep doing the stair-stepping fashion where we break a weekly level, we find support. We break a weekly level, we find support. So it makes sense that we're going to break this weekly level and find support here. So keep an eye out for this dip down to 9.6K. That'll be the point of interest, because if that doesn't hold, well, then we're probably going to go down to 8.2. But if it does hold, then I think we're most likely going to be range bound here.